What's up, everybody? This is Bems.
And I'm Ace, and this is Serving Up the Tea. We are on episode 12. By God's grace, we have made it to the final episode of this season. So, Bems, what's tea?
Tea today might be more of champagne. It seems like congratulations are in order because I think there was like a memo that went out that like you and I didn't get, but like you had to get engaged in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
The general sense I'm getting is like if you're not engaged in 2025, something's gonna happen. I didn't personally get that memo. Maybe I got it, didn't read the fine print. I don't know. Maybe it went to my junk mail. But people are getting engaged at a rapid rate. On the tennis tour specifically, there have been like 4 weddings, 10,000 engagements. Felix is getting engaged. I mean, he's been with that girl for like a really long time. She deserves that. Casper as well. He has that girlfriend that he's like always like in pictures and stuff with, the blonde girl.
Yeah,
she's so cute. She looks like an elf. She has like elfy ears. Yeah. So like they both got engaged, and like also like on my Instagram timeline in general, like people are getting engaged left, right, and center. My cousin, who like we're basically twins, we like grew up together, like me and him locked in, popped out getting engaged. I said, "Sir."
Yeah, it's certainly a movement. It's a movement that is, you know, spanning cultures. And
I thought we were all out here having fun, but it seems
the fun is over.
I mean, so.
The fun is not over. The fun is transformed, and it's now a movement towards engagement. So yeah, but congrats to all those who are engaged.
Yeah, I'm excited to have more like tennis wags out there doing their thing, you know.
But wait, don't you remember at the beginning of this podcast we spoke about this, and they were like how tennis needs like more dramatic relationships? Like, come on, guys, reality TV it up.
I actually need to check into what's going on with Potapova and Shevchenko, if they've refollowed each other on Instagram. I need to check in on that, yeah, because that was something that I was keeping my eye on and I forgot to check back in.
Potapova.
Yeah.
What a gal.
Yeah, so let's see. Do you think Tsitsipas and Badosa are going to get married?
If they do, they need to put that shit in vogue. They need to like
they need to maximize that, I think, yeah.
Bring more eyes to tennis with the drama. Come on, guys. It's 2024. Going into 2025.
Gosh, 2025 is literally like right. I'm gonna blink and it's gonna be next year.
I kind of want to blink and it'd be next year at this point.
No, 2024 has, yeah, it's
been a journey.
It's been definitely been that. But what's tea for you, girl?
So recently, it has come to my attention that, you know, we're just seeing like this repeat of like this historical kind of notion that certain black celebrities, for whatever reason, don't want to be black. We saw it with Michael Jackson, which is controversial. Some people think that he bleached his skin. Some people have the common sense to know that he had vitiligo. And then the other day, they hit Serena with the same accusations. And so she came out to tell everybody that she loves being black and there's no way on earth that she's bleaching her beautiful skin. So that was tea for me because she had to clock the nonsense. She said, cut the cameras. Dead ass.
So I don't think anybody wants to think that Serena Williams is bleaching her skin. Mm-hmm. But I do think that she has put out content that looks like her skin has been bleached. Like she recently put up a video of like her, like, I don't know if it was the filter she was using or the lighting or what, but she looked very fair skinned. And my thing on that is like, even if you're not bleaching, you see the content that like, you know what I mean? Like you see yourself
like
in the video before you post it.
Put out something that is not.
That aside, obviously with black skin, you deal with hyperpigmentation, you deal with like uneven skin tones. And the reason why I actually haven't fixed my hyperpigmentation is A, because it's not that like dramatic, but B, in order to fix it, you can only lighten your skin to the light areas. You cannot darken the light areas to match the dark areas. Mm-hmm. So if you've noticed, like whenever celebrities start to go into like skincare regimens and stuff, their skin gets lighter. So like Gabrielle Union has gotten lighter. Megan Good has gotten lighter. Like it's like a normal thing because if you're trying to even out your skin tone, all you can do is make your skin lighter. You cannot like even it to like a darker tone. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So with all that being said, Serena Williams' skin has gotten lighter over the years, but I think it's a byproduct of her doing more skincare and like being more intentional and like, you know, trying to fix hyperpigmentation and like dark circles and stuff like that. Her skin has gotten lighter.
Also like
that is
probably true. Being more like strict about like sunscreen and stuff, which is like what causes, like the lack of use of sunscreen causes more hyperpigmentation. And then as you start using sunscreen, your skin evens out to like a more even tone, which would kind of be like a middle ground between your darkest points of your face and the lighter points of your face. But I definitely don't think it has anything to do with her not wanting to be a beautiful dark-skinned woman.
So that's the thing. Like, I think it's hard to like believe that as a dark-skinned woman myself when I see her like posting stuff where she looks lighter. Do you know what I mean? Like that last video that she posted, I don't know if I can find it for you, but like she looks very fair, like probably more fair than you. And so for me, I'm just like, yo, it was like on Twitter, I think. And so for me, it's just like, okay, like you're saying that you want to be black and you're saying you love being black, but also like, let's not act as though we don't know like the pressures that come with being a dark-skinned woman, especially if she's putting out content where she looks like a fair-skinned person and she's not. You know what I mean?
I will say though that there are some dermatologists and estheticians that I feel like from seeing the work that they do on their clients and patients, they lean towards lightening the skin rather than just evening out your skin tone.
Exactly.
And they will tell you like, oh no, this is just how it has to go to improve whatever skin condition that you're trying to fix. And I'm always kind of like, it looks like you just lightened your client's skin and now you're telling them like this is better.
Exactly.
And I do think like just like there's medical bias in other fields, there's also medical bias in dermatology and skincare. So bloop. But anyway, Serena clocked it.
I'm happy that she addressed it though, and I just hope that the content that she continues to put out will match that sentiment is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? She does have like
the filters are on.
Okay. So let's get it. There's no Match Web music this week, really, because there hasn't been any tennis.
It's been such a hard time.
I mean, there's been like exhibitions and stuff, but
such a hard time because I just find myself at a loss without tennis to watch.
Yeah, same. I've been watching some highlights though for some fun matches, so that was it's been a fun time. But and some Networthy news.
Yes, Networthy news, not NetPoint.
I said when Murray was retiring that like I hope he gets into somebody's box soon. I hope he starts coaching.
And also, wasn't this a rumor at one point? And then they were like, nah, it's not real, it's not real. And then it became real?
No, it was real from the moment they announced it.
Or did I dream that?
Maybe you dreamt it, girl. But Djokovic came out with this like feature film trailer thing with like a voiceover and like some very like dramatic Star Wars type music. Like the voiceover was insane. I was like, this man is insane. Like Djokovic is so crazy.
I love it for him. Like he's having such a good time.
So crazy. But anyway, yes, Djokovic is now being coached by the one, the only Sir Andy Murray.
This is what we mean when we say like make this shit reality TV. Like this is like who wrote this script?
The drama.
It's about to be so fun to watch.
So I just want to know what's gonna happen because obviously we've seen Djokovic play. Like he yells at his box. Andy Murray is gonna yell back. I don't know what is gonna like. They're gonna be matching each other's freak.
Level of drama that the tennis community has not seen before.
Like
unprecedented.
It's gonna be insane. But like I was thinking about it, and it's gonna be very interesting because Murray knows Djokovic's game from a rival perspective. Mm-hmm. So I feel like he's going to be able to give him insights and apply his tennis IQ in a way that Djokovic may not be able to. You know what I mean? Because now Djokovic isn't the, youngest guy on tour. He's not the fastest. So he's going to need to come at it from a different angle, I think.
Yeah, I'm also wondering if with Andy Murray's experience with like dealing with one getting older, to your body like starting to fail in various ways, if the lessons that he learned, or maybe that he learned only in like hindsight from his own career, are going to be transferred down to Djokovic as he's entering that phase of like not being as young as he used to be, not being as fast as he used to be, having to like change your game tactics to suit your new age.
I mean, well, Andy Murray has an entire metal hip. Djokovic has the fake knee thing. So maybe a different... Djokovic's body is not breaking down at all. That man is like
It's quite
doing
functional.
very okay. Yeah. It's so funny because it reminds me of like when they asked like Nadal about Djokovic, and it was one of those responses that's like very cheeky but like sounds very normal if you just listen to what he said. He's a player who has managed to maintain a very high level and improve every year. The numbers show he's the best, which means his tennis has also been the best. And he's been the most injury free, which allowed him to maintain his physical, mental, and his tennis levels longer than anyone. That's why he's the best and he's earned it. To me, that quote is like, girl, I guess. You got it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. Nadal is so funny.
Nadal!
I'm going to miss
Oh
him
my
so
God.
much. But yeah, I mean,
I'm sorry, I'm just laughing. What happened in Barcelona happened. What happened in...
happened. And the way he said happened, he said happened. It happened.
Yeah. Now we are in Rome.
We are in Rome.
Hilarious. What a cutie.
But yeah, no, he's the best. Djokovic and Murray have already started like their banter. I think Djokovic just was doing like some off-season like ratata. He was like at F1 or something, and Murray commented and was like, he should be on the practice court. So I think it's gonna be like funny. It's definitely gonna be like fun to watch. I'm just hoping that they are able to temper their most extreme.
Do you think Andy Murray is gonna be able to put his foot down? Because like I can't see it happening. I feel like he's gonna have to read the room and like really test that boundary and see like how much can I be a coach here and how much do I have to be like, yo, bro, let's go. Let's put, you know what I mean? Like, what is the tactic gonna be like?
I mean, so I don't think that they're boys to the point where like it's like a yo bro situation. Do you know what I mean? Like I think that they've always had like a professional friendship. Like I don't think it's like a we're locked in, ain't no switching up kind of vibe. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't feel like it's gonna be like Taylor Fritz trying to coach Tommy Paul. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or like a Yannick trying to coach
work.
Berrettini. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like I think that they have enough of a professional boundary that Murray can still be like, my guy.
Wait, do you think Berrettini could coach Yannick though?
No, he loves him too much.
Thanks.
He's obsessed with Yannick. I don't even think he could yell at him. But yeah, overall, Djokovic was basically just like, he decided he needed a new coach because, you know, he hasn't been playing with the coach for a while.
Yeah.
And he was like, the perfect coach would be someone who's had the same experiences as me, been through what I've been through. He's a multiple Grand Slam winner. He said he called him and he like caught him completely off guard. And they like connected super quickly and they're like doing it. And
yeah,
right now it's only until the end of the Australian Open guaranteed. And I think they're going to take it from there to see. Anyway, what else we got for Networthy news?
I mean, we have a bit of a big one because I don't think anyone really saw this coming. But 2024 is the year of secret suspension masked as injury. It's the new format that the players are using. It seems to be a tactic because both world number ones have tested positive in this calendar year on tour, men's and women's, which is crazy for the sport.
Yeah. Insane, actually. Insane.
It's not a good look, tennis. It's not a good look. But we do have to look at it in depth because there's nuance. And I think it's worth a discussion. Yeah.
Okay, tell me.
So Iga Swiatek tested positive for a banned substance, a prohibited substance.
She was number one at the time, right?
The dean. Yeah.
She was number one at the time. She's not number one now, but she was number one then. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there was when was it? After the US Open, she kind of took this break, right?
Yeah. Right after telling us that she wasn't going to take a break. Because remember in that presser, I mentioned it at the time, that like there was a presser where they were like, okay, so you're going to take some time off. And she was like, why would I take time off? I'm not injured. And they were like, oh, okay. All right. And then next thing we knew, she was having coaching changes and taking time off.
Yeah. So apparently the sample was collected in August and she tested positive for this prohibited substance and therefore went under a provisional suspension that was kept secret until quite recently. So they did their digging, they found the source, and they kind of proved that it was not, one, it was a negligible amount, not enough to produce like any kind of performance enhancing effects. And two, she wasn't at fault. She didn't knowingly or like maliciously tried to gain an advantage by taking these substances. And it was found to be a contaminated sample of, I think,
Melatonin.
melatonin, like a sleeping aid.
That was bought by her sports psychologist, by the way. Just throwing that out there.
And I think it was bought like in some European country. And the reason why I think it's worth having a discussion or just throwing it to the side as like, oh my God, tennis has an issue, is because in both the cases of these world number ones, well, no, not Yannick, different case. But in Iga's case, the contaminated sample was from a trusted, FDA approved like producer of pharmaceuticals, and the amount of that substance was within like the industry standard for cross contamination or whatever. But it's too high for tennis and their standards of testing. I don't know if I'm explaining this correctly, but there's a discrepancy there where the tennis standards don't match the industry standards.
Yeah. But anyway, Miss Simona Halep had a lot to say. Yo, when I saw her Instagram post, I said, I'm not reading all that.
Oh, wait,
Simona?
I need to go read it right now.
No, you won't be able to read it by the time the podcast is over. She wrote an essay. But what's annoying to me about Halep is like, your case is not the same as anyone else's. You were doping, ma'am. You were doping. Simona Halep was doping. And I really find it so annoying and very disingenuous of her that every time a contamination case comes up, she pops out the woodworks like, see what happened? Girl, you were doping. You were. So please.
Yeah, she really thinks everyone's out to destroy her.
She said the IATA was trying to destroy her career. She did say that.
Yeah. I mean, it is sad that I remember just like thinking, wow, they've really banned this girl for like a long time. And then now it does seem that there has been preferential treatment for these world number ones. I mean, whatever it is, they just need to like come up with like stricter guidelines so everyone knows what it is. If it's that like you're not allowed to take any medicine and you take medicine over the counter stuff at your own risk, because if it happens to be contaminated, it's not your fault, then they should just say that. You know what I mean? It can't be that athletes are looking to take a melatonin and because the industry standards in whatever country they're from are not the same as the tennis standards, that it should be like a whole ban.
So I also want to note that the decisions and the processes have changed a bit since Simona Halep's time. And they've changed, the injuries have changed how things work. And unfortunately, Sinner and Swiatek have benefited from that. However, it doesn't mean that Halep was not guilty.
Wrong.
Do you get what I mean?
Or, yeah.
I also think that it's important to note that Swiatek and Sinner were very quickly able to identify the source of the contamination. The WTA put out a statement in support of Swiatek. I thought that was wrong, honestly. I didn't think that was right. For them to come out and be like, oh, we stand...
Saying we support Swiatek, but then we also support a clean sport. That's what I'm saying. They need to decide what the rules are and put it out. And like, if you break it, you break it.
I just don't think that the WTA should have made a comment at all. I think it sets a very weird precedent to come out and be like, oh, we support Swiatek at this time.
Anybody in particular.
You're not supposed to. Yeah,
supposed
like
to
that was
uphold the rules. That's it.
Very, very, very weird. Yeah. I mean, I thought that was very weird. But then you also have like people who, I mean, we know of all these, the young lady who said that she was contaminated because she was engaging in...
The one who was sucking dick?
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that one. Then there was also, what's his name, who was like kissing in the club?
The cocaine, yeah. Gasquet. Yeah.
Wild.
He said he kissed a woman who was doing cocaine, and that's how he came up with cocaine in his system. Yeah.
I mean, whatever you gotta say.
Yeah. Wim Fissette said that he wasn't at all put off by the suspension and da-da-da. She said he has full faith in Iga not doing it. I mean, let me be honest and put my hands up and say, I don't think Iga intentionally doped or consumed any substance. I'm going to say that. I do think it's very unfortunate and weird that both world number ones have been involved in something like this in the same season. When Serena went live talking about Win Beauty for Cyber Monday, she alluded to like the fact that like, I don't do that doping stuff. Some people do that. I was always accused of it. I've never done it. Some people were taking all sorts of stuff. And I was just like, oh,
She just loves to flex with that one because, of course, in her time, her big rivalry, Sharapova, and then turns out someone had to, Sharapova had her whole
Her and Sharapova are friends now.
friends now, but it's still a flex. Like, y'all could never say.
I think she's really throwing shade at Halep because
because of
Wimbledon.
that Wimbledon, where I think Serena always suspected that something was going on, and it was.
Hello.
But I also agree. I don't think Iga has it in her to do that.
She doesn't seem like the type. Although it would explain that haircut she keeps.
Oh my god! How? How does it explain the haircut? Please tell us.
Because she keeps the bob short in case of hair sampling. So that's why she has that little bob. Yeah. But she accepted a 1 month, which is kind of short.
It's very short.
Yeah, it's a little short. It's a little short. And here's the thing, though.
That's a sabbatical, not even.
It's also the presumption. I get it. She's kind of mousy. She doesn't really have that sort of like bad girl persona. So it's easy to be like, oh, Iga would never do that. But it's crazy the assumption of innocence that a lot of people are giving her. Because if Serena had secretly, or forget Serena, Coco today, if they come out and say Coco tested 1 month, what we would be dealing with.
Another ball game.
Oh, I always knew it. I always knew it. That's why this. That's probably why this. Somebody like Sabalenka, let them come out and say that Sabalenka was contaminated. They'll say that she's doping for sure.
They would.
And she's not coming out from
come
under
up
it.
with like, oh, she's actually now a druggie. Like they would come up with some crazy. No, people like to hate Sabalenka. They really do. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Tennis needs to tighten up because what is going on cannot continue.
I mean, maybe they also need to look at like their standards. Maybe if their standards are so much higher than industry standards, it's not. But then again, this player, what's his name? Liam Brody, the British player, he was saying that like there's a website where you can get drugs that you know for a fact are not contaminated. Like they provide them with all the resources to not use contaminated substances. Like he was like, yeah, like you don't need to.
So what is it that if you want to get your melatonin, you have to go to this one website where it's already pre-tested for contamination?
I guess so.
Maybe the practicality is just not there with that.
As a general rule, with doping in tennis, contamination or any presence of a prohibited substance is a 4-year ban. Like, don't even no two ways about it. If you can establish that the violation was unintentional, they would put in a 2-year ineligibility. And that can also be reduced further, which is, I guess, what happened in Iga's case. But from 2 years to 1 month.
To 1 month is crazy. You can see why people are confused as to how did they come to this conclusion.
Yeah, you have to be able to prove that you took the utmost caution not to like ingest or be contaminated. And I guess she was able to do that.
But if taking the care not to ingest contaminated substance is as simple as going to this service that is allegedly provided where the samples are tested and clear of any contamination, then how did we get to 1 month still?
Yeah. That
sounded like some kind of Victorian rant that I just went on because what was that construction of sentences?
No, I just wanted you to. Just going to let you have it. But yeah, I mean, Gasquet got 8 months, I think.
I mean, he was by then. It didn't matter if it was intentional or not. He's on cocaine. What? Yes, of course he had to be banned. Like you have ingested.
Yeah, he kissed a woman in a nightclub the day before the anti-doping test.
They had no other choice but to assume that he was at that point high on cocaine.
They asked for a 1 to 2 year ban, and Cass was like, "No, 8 months is cool." He was ranked 23 at the time. I will say though that like as much as I love Yannick, his story is a bit strange.
It is
like,
a bit strange.
It's a bit strange. Like Yannick's story is a bit strange.
It's
I'm not
strange.
gonna lie.
It's also graphic in an uncomfortable way, and
the massage without gloves really bothers you. Every time this comes up, you get so bothered.
Ew.
Every time this comes up, you get so bothered.
just the science of how did it now, I don't know, enter your skin. How do the molecules move? I don't know. To the point where, and then maybe it comes down to like, hey, tennis, why are you testing to such a crazy degree? Because if a few molecules were rubbed into the leg or the wherever, why is that coming up on test?
I saw something in one of the reports I read. Apparently, if Iga had been tested like 2 hours later, it wouldn't even have shown up at all. That's how small
the tests are too sensitive. Something is going on.
Halep, though, I don't understand why she's still complaining because, she had a 4-year ban, yes, but it was reduced to like 9 months. It was like 11 months in total.
Time served.
Like,
essentially.
But the thing is, like, her case is so different. She took an unregulated substance. And she didn't have an explanation.
She went off grid.
Her bio passport was like, this ain't that.
This ain't that.
Like,
girl, please. It was not FDA approved. Like, what?
I think her failure to return strongly has shown that she was indeed doping because she can't perform. She cannot perform anymore. So, but that's, that's that on the doping scenario.
Yeah.
Say no to drugs, kids. Apparently melatonin falls in that category now.
No, it's a bit wild. They need to figure that out.
More chill, Networthy news. Italy swept the end of the season. Won the Billie Jean King Cup. Won the Davis Cup. Yannick won ATP finals. Like,
Paulina came up like 100 ranks.
Did her thing. Big
They're
one.
saying it's a renaissance.
No, it is. It's the Italian Renaissance for sure. But they have like really good like community engagement when it comes to tennis. Like they have very good grassroots programs. Like they, I think, are a country that has really invested in its tennis.
No, they're prepared. They are prepared for this moment.
They're hosting the Davis Cup for the next 3 years. I think it's going to be in Bologna. How do you pronounce that? Bologna?
They're hosting Davis Cup. They're hosting ATP finals. They have Rome. They have like so many things. Gucci's up on tennis. So here's what I want to see for Miss Paolini. I want a nice Italian fashion house to back her in an organic and...
It's not going to happen.
Why? Because she's black?
She's like not like a fashion girl. She's like not a fashionista. And like I can't even... She's also like really short. So I just don't think...
Let it be a car then. Let it be something that feels good because I want to see her with a good brand deal. That would seal the Italian Renaissance for me. Something. Let her put her in a fast car. Let her go zoom zoom. Something needs to happen.
Zoom zoom is crazy. Zoom zoom is actually insane of you. Speaking of fashion folks, did you see Feast's photo shoot?
Which one? For the next gen?
No. I'm about to send it to you. Honestly... I have to be frank. He is the best looking ATP player.
No, these pics go crazy.
No, he's hot.
How cute. Love that for him. He's featuring in the next gen ATP finals.
Yeah, I believe he's the number 1 seed. Last year he lost in the final, so I think he's looking to take it this year. Based on the field, I think it's quite possible, to be honest. There's not much in there. Actually. Men's shit could give him a tough time. But anyway, we'll talk about that on Next on Tour. Let's step into the players box, shall we?
Step into it.
So the most marketable athletes list came out. And 8 tennis players made the top 50. Want to hear it? Coco Gauff, number 13.
Period.
Novak Djokovic, number 18. Carlos Alcaraz, number 29. Rafael Nadal, number 34. Arina Sabalenka, number 38. Yannick Sinner, number 47. Naomi Osaka, number 48. Iga Swiatek, number 50. Notable mentions is Emma Raducanu, who was in the top 150 and was 131. The number 1 on the list, though, was Ms. Simone Biles. I thought you'd like that.
That's so interesting, and I love that for Simone Biles. I don't understand how that can be the case where, like, she's at the end of her career, whereas, like, tennis players have, like, much longer careers. So for me, that would make them more marketable than gymnasts at any point in time.
So I'm going to assume that this is, like, from the U.S. lens, for starters. For seconders, I did not know that Coco Gauff was more marketable than Carlos Alcaraz. That shocked me.
I think she definitely is in America. You can't put Carlos Alcaraz on a Wheaties box.
Because he's not American?
Who in the middle of America is going to know Carlos Alcaraz?
No, yeah, that's true.
But they know the U.S. Open champion from America. You know what I mean? And same thing with Simone Biles. She's obviously from America. #1 in gymnastics. Has been for many, many years.
Coco over Djokovic?
Yes. Marketability. You could put Coco in a car. She's selling it. You could put Coco in a hair care ad. She's selling it. You could put Coco on a cereal box. She's selling it. You could put Coco in fashion. She's selling it. Coco could run a Say No to Drugs campaign for the next, I was going to say administration, but
I don't think that Iga Swiatek should be on the list at all.
no, because I think she's not the most marketable. She's lovely, great player, but not the most marketable by a long shot.
Nadal still being on the list, considering that he played 2 matches this season and is retiring, is very interesting. I did see that Nike is going to stop producing stuff with his logo on it next year.
You're going to stop? Like the brand is over?
Yeah. So if you see anything with Nadal's logo on it, better snatch it up.
Yeah.
I was telling my mom, she was like, and she was wearing a Rafa hat. She was like, so this is vintage? I was like, girl, get out my face, please. Go sit down. Like, just get out of my face.
Rare, maybe. Vintage, no.
Like, get out of my face, please. You bought that 2 days ago. Please leave me alone. Like, I mean, vintage. Words
That's so
mean
interesting.
things.
I wonder why the contract is ending. Is it because his career is ending, or because like this is just the end of the contract and now it coincides with his career coming to a close, and so they're just like, let's not do that again.
I think that they aren't going to be making him kits anymore, right? Like they don't make Serena stuff anymore either. Do you know what I mean? Like,
true.
Rafa's line is like his kits and stuff, and he's not playing. Like they're not going to be making him like sneakers and stuff because he's not playing.
Yeah.
You got me?
Makes sense.
Although, even while Naomi was pregnant and not playing, I feel like they were still releasing stuff under her name. But I guess she was still an active player, to be fair.
Yeah.
So.
But it is true. I mean, they seem to like be locked in by Naomi. It feels like with Naomi, it's more of a genuine.
I need to
like,
see the deal that she signed, bro. I need to see her. I need to see the contract because, like,
it seems to have nothing to do with her success as a tennis player.
They don't. I also think it has a lot to do with the Asian market. To be fair, like I think that is a big.
It's different out there.
Thing for her, but this girl gets custom kits when she's like not even 100. Like, what's going on? Like Naomi's deal with Nike, I need to see it with my own 2 eyes. I want to read the fine print.
She actually probably should be way higher up on this list when we think about. This is definitely from like a U.S. perspective. Yeah, you're right, because she should be higher up on the list.
I also feel like globally though, Sabalenka should be more marketable, but I think her being Russian or Belarusian or whatever the hell is not helping her.
Yeah, the geopolitical situation is not in her favor in this current moment.
I think even her being 38 on this list is actually quite a feat considering. Do you know what I mean? I think that means she's probably would have been way higher if she wasn't Putin's princess.
Yeah, I mean, remember we spoke about this, the fact that like she was literally dominating and could not even get a custom Nike kit. Like she got very standard this entire season and last year.
I think she had like a custom shoe, but so did Yannick with the fox on it. I think hers had the tiger on it.
I mean, recently she's been getting some custom items, but when we had this conversation, it was like a few months ago.
When you say custom, do you mean like it's just a different colorway than everybody else? Because I've seen other people wear the same colorways that they give her. Like that black dress that she had, somebody else was wearing it. She does. The only thing she has custom is the stuff with that little tiger on it, and it's like 2 items. They actually don't care about
that's
her.
What I'm saying. Like only recently, she has those little tiger theme things. Naomi has an entire line made by her.
And some of Naomi's line has nothing to do with tennis. It's just like streetwear.
It's a genuine fashion. Maybe this also has to do with the fact that Naomi has structured her off, like out of tennis business in a certain way where it's like she has a creative team. She has a production company. She's producing content. She's producing creative, output. So maybe because of that, she's been able to secure a better deal for herself because there's a whole team behind her on the creative side, which not many players have. Shout out to Hana Kuma.
Yeah, I think that Naomi like has approached her career as a like very business savvy. She don't play about her money.
She don't
play about her money.
She be in the kitchen cooking like
she don't care. She don't play about it.
Her and CAA, they got a plan.
No switching up. Locked in.
They got a plan.
Yeah, I don't think Iga should be on this list at all. I know she has a deal with Legos or something, like a sponsorship deal with Legos.
Which, to be fair, is probably the most organic deal that we're going to see for Iga Swiatek. Lego suits her so well.
It's very cute. And then On Running, but they don't really use her for any ads. She just wears the stuff. So
the On thing had to do with Federer in some way, right?
He owns a part of it, yeah.
So it was her and then Ben Shelton and then what's the other guy?
Koboli.
Wearing
really
those
hot.
strange kits. And they had the same kit for like 2 years straight, but then they always slightly alter the kit. And I was a fan of the kit, but I'm like, why is it the same thing every year?
Also, why isn't it sweat wicking? Like Ben Shelton is always like
Drenched.
like.
And I don't complain.
No, he looks good. It's fun.
I noticed at a certain point this year that we just threw the concept of dry fit out the door.
It's not happening. It's a wet fit these days.
Mm-hmm.
Emma Raducanu, I feel, is quite marketable. I don't actually know why or what it is, but she just has it. I don't know. She just has it. Because, for example, somebody like Kalinskaya, as beautiful as she is, there's not really much there. Do you know what I mean? Like, gorgeous, gorgeous girl. But I'm
Beautiful
not like
gowns.
Lovely gowns. But, you know.
Yeah, I think it has to do with how much Emma Raducanu talks. And the fact that people care a lot for her opinion. So I feel like she's asked a lot more questions, whereas Kalinskaya has kind of stayed away from having like a personal brand. She's kind of just more about her tennis straight up, Kalinskaya seems to be. Because if she wanted, she could activate that pretty privilege in a minute.
She's also Russian though, so.
Yeah. But so was Sharapova. So what are we saying?
Sharapova was American.
No, she was not.
She was basically American.
She spent a lot of time in America, but
she speaks in an American accent. Like,
that is true. That is true. I actually have a friend who grew up in Russia. Interesting. Like, he's black.
Okay. How did that go?
He said it was a vibe, but international school.
Oh yeah, fair. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, Sinner is going to stay on that list. I mean, 47, I think, accurately represents his personality, XYZ. But the Italians don't play about him, boy. Although there's a sect of Italians that don't believe that Yannick Sinner is Italian. Do you know that?
Yeah, they think he's German?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there's like an ethnic argument, like culture-wise, because he's from a part of the country that's close to like some border or something.
Yeah, and I think it's because he chose not to play at the Olympics and he like doesn't.
Well, now we know it's not that he didn't choose to play at the Olympics. It was because of this new strategy the players are using to hide their doping scandals.
Iga said coaching changes and what?
I don't even remember. I thought she was injured.
Time off.
I thought her elbow was hitting her.
Personal, whatever.
I thought she was having mental health issues. I thought she was trying to recenter. Turns out she was provisionally suspended.
But no, I do think that Coco is super marketable. She's like fun. She's lively.
She also speaks out. She has a very distinct personality.
Yeah.
She could hold her own in a presser.
She can, girl. She sure can. I think top 3 was LeBron and what's that Brazilian player's name? Junior Vicentis.
From what sport?
They were the top 3. Football.
I wonder who's the new like hot footballer. I don't know much about the football scene these days.
Vinicius Jr. And LeBron.
I'm gonna Google that.
Lewis Hamilton was number 11. And this was his 14th time being in the top 40, more than any other athlete ever.
I had never seen this Vinicius person in my life.
Oh, how?
Oh, wait, no, I've seen him. The picture just came up.
Yeah, you know him.
Yes, I've seen this guy. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was about to say, there's no way you don't know him. That's why he's number 2. Yeah. But yeah, there's no tennis players in the top 10 for the second year in a row.
Slept on. They're going to regret it.
But it's only the third time that it's happened since the ranking started in 2010.
As in there usually are tennis players in the top 10. Okay.
I think when Ms. Williams was around, yeah.
It was undeniable at that point. But I think it will get to that point for Coco. It will become undeniable.
No, but the thing is, Coco is actually fallen. Last year she was 12 and now she's 13. And Novak was 11 and now he's 18. Let me tell you last year's rankings. Novak was 11, Coco was 12, Naomi was 14, Sabalenka was 18, Raducanu was 21.
Tennis was up. Tennis was up.
Tennis was up. Rafa was 41, Kvitova was 43, and Ons was 50.
I mean, I think it's just because tennis went through kind of a transformative year. So we just have to wait for the chips to settle, you know, everybody to get into their groove.
But something I would note from last year is that the only ATP players in the top 50 were Novak and Nadal, which probably meant that people globally were still thinking of tennis as like the ATP golden big three, But I think Carlos and Yannick have really broken through that. And that's why I think that they are where they are. Do you know what I mean?
They have broken
I think
the
it shows
feeling of the big
the
three.
big three. Yeah.
/4.
Yeah. /5.
Who's the fifth?
I just felt like saying that. I didn't.
I was like, Wawrinka?
Dominic Team. Juan Del Potro. No, speaking of, oh my God, so nice of what Djokovic did for him. That was really nice. Like Djokovic is very annoying, and like, you know, a bit, you know, but he is, I think, at the end of the day, he has a good heart for the most part, and he really does try for his, you know, fellow golden era boys, because I think Del Potro just needed that one. You know, I mean, obviously Djokovic let him win, but I think because he didn't get to end his, you know, career on his own terms, he wanted one last match. And Djokovic flew all the way to make it happen for him. So that's really nice.
And then he cried, and it's just so emotional because he's probably thinking about the end of his career is also near, but no, he's coming to hire Andy Murray, and they're gonna have a last dance upon the tour.
Yeah.
I was wondering why that was happening, but then you explained it to me that Del Potro kind of retired by force, and so he never got this farewell send off, and then Joko came back to, you know, make it official.
It's time to get into the one and only Deuce Debate, to end all Deuce Debates.
Let's go.
Let's talk about the length of the season. It's been a very big topic this year. A lot of different people have weighed in on it. The majority of the players, I think, feel like the season is too long and too taxing, and the new requirements are just unreasonable and unfair. And then there's some other people who feel like people should just shut up and play and not play exhibitions if they're going to complain. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think I'm never one of those people who believes that you should be a part of something and not critique it or not have an opinion on it. So it's kind of annoying that there are some people who try to silence others. My opinion personally is that it's too damn long. I do think we've seen direct effects of the players like being burnt out and how it affects the way they play. But I don't think it's that the length of the season is too long. I think it's the requirements for the players. I think the length of the season allows tennis to be a global sport. It allows there to be more people involved in the sport. But I do think like the fact that the top 100 players have to be spread so thin to maintain their top 100 status seems a bit crazy and humanly impossible. Like, it's not sustainable at this point.
Yeah.
And so are we going to see players being as dominant as they were in like the early 2000s into the 2010s? Now, I don't know. Because it seems like they just be, well, let me not speak too soon, because we thought that certain people were burnt out and having injuries because of all these things. Turned out they were just like provisionally suspended. But then we also had Carlos Alcaraz, who was definitely complaining about feeling burnt out and feeling like his body had to adjust too much. Who was it who was complaining that like the balls changing all through the season also affects them? Medvedev. Yeah.
Medvedev was at war with the balls this season. He was not on that type of time.
He said since COVID, the quality of the balls has reduced. I do think that there's validity in saying that the ATP probably doesn't have the player's best interest at heart when it makes it so that you have to be playing 11 out of the 12 months of the year.
So I think Chrissy Everett had a really, really good take on it, in that a lot of the older players that are saying like, oh, these players are just complaining, like we used to play this much, da da da. The depth of field is so much more intense. Like the players are doing so much more, the variety of shots, the amount you have to run, like
The
you
game
can't
is
just
faster.
be like, bro.
The courts are so much faster.
And the game is so diverse. There's so much happening on the court that it's not just, you're not just going and like baseline grinding back and forth. Do you know what I mean? Like you're doing so much more. There's so much mental stuff. Social media has increased the amount of engagement the players need to give everybody. The pressers are draining. And also like the mental toll, I feel that, yo, can you imagine like every week at work going up for a promotion and not getting it? And having to come back to work the next week. That's basically what tennis is. If you don't win the tournament, you are losing every week. Like you just
It's
back
very
to
black
back
and white
losing.
in that
Do you know what
way.
I mean? It's like, imagine you work at your 9-to-5 job. At night, you're doing courses to try and get better. And every week there's a promotion and you're going up for the promotion and you're doing your best. And sometimes you're the last person in the running and you don't get it. And then next week you have to go up for another promotion. Do you know, like, would people be able to do that? Like realistically? I would not.
Humans can't do it.
I would not. Catch me in the unemployment line. I'm not going back. Like, I'm not going back. So I feel like
Catch me looking for benefits.
The expectation, like the mental toll that takes on a player to just bounce back, then because some of these losses are brutal. Some of them are like you made 2 mistakes and it's over. You know what I mean?
It's also worth saying that a good few people have lost matches this season, especially due to the umpires making incorrect calls. So I think all of these factors are adding to the fact that the players are just like feeling a bit neglected by the various powers that be. So it's definitely, I think, influencing the sentiment that like, wow, you guys don't have our best interests at heart. You don't really think about how this is affecting our bodies mentally, physically.
The ATP tour started on 29th December 2023. It's ending on the 22nd of December 2024. And starts again on the 29th of December. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, okay, technically there's an off season right now because ATP finals are over, Davis Cup is over. But for the guys playing next gen,
they have to keep in shape. They have to keep in competition shape. They can't like switch into like practice season shape and then just keep it consistent until Australian Open or whatever first tournament they play next year. They have to be in performance ready state.
There was about 70 tournaments on the ATP tour this year. 70. On the WTA side, they had about 58 tournaments. In 1984, there was about 50 tournaments on the professional calendar. The requirements were not as stringent, and also the game was not as varied. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just not the same, unfortunately.
Well, the locations is varied too, because also I feel like the travel is insane now. You can be on one side of the world today playing a tournament. You go to bed on a plane, wake up the next day, and you have practice in another side of the world, different time zone, different climate. And I think that part of the game has also expanded. Tennis has become more global. And so the ATP and the WTA both, they have to think about these factors that make it just increasingly more difficult for you to just have these people running up and down the globe playing the sport at a high level.
And a lot of players have spoken out about it. Carlos said probably
he's been very vocal about it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then people get on him because they're like, oh, but you're playing exhibitions. And I really want people to use critical thinking skills.
I want people to see how much it costs to be running up and down the globe playing tennis, that he should not go and play for $6 million.
Kokonakis also mentioned how it's like tough for him because he's like from Australia. Tsitsipas said that the 2-week Masters have like, he doesn't love it. He says it's like a drag. But it's funny because there's a video of him supporting the 2-week Masters. And so when he made this statement, Wawrinka responded with a video of him in interview.
Yo, why is he so messy, Wawrinka?
No, Wawrinka's insane. Stanislas is insane.
That always be some trauma.
No, he don't really care. Draper said that it's mentally, physically challenging. Iga said that the athletes are not being heard when they express concerns, and they're not being consulted. And she says there's too many tournaments in the season and it's not going to end well. Like, I think this season in particular as well was very crazy with the addition of the Olympics on clay where it was in the season. That was
season. Because they literally had to switch on top of, all the normal switches that happened throughout the tour year.
Yeah.
They had to throw an extra clay season into there if you wanted to represent your country at the Olympics.
You had people playing like 125s and stuff trying to like get ready for the clay season. Yeah, and I mean, I think like back to what I was saying about Chrissy Everett, she said back in the 80s, they didn't have to play hard the first round. They cruising. She said now, first round, if you don't bring your best...
You and I.
Hello. Sinner, of course, said you don't have to play.
I mean, Yannick, come on.
He said the season is long and it's not easy, but you don't have to play. So if you don't want to play, don't play. Billie Jean King, in her blazer, said it's tough for her to understand players criticizing tennis scheduling, but they still play exhibition events.
Do they not want them to make money? I don't understand.
She said you get a month off and then you go play exhibition events. I thought you needed the rest. But technically, they're not playing more. Like the data shows they're not playing more. So I think the depth of field argument is really where the crux of it is, because they're not playing more in terms of quantity, but they're playing more in terms of quality. Do you know what I mean?
More quality, and then I think with varying, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Varying environments. Like the environments the factors are more varied nowadays, where you're traveling the conditions, the courts, the court speed. All these things are way more varied than I think in the old days, where it was like, I don't know, I've seen them complaining about the speed of the courts being just drastically different from tournament to tournament, even in the same area.
But tennis is trying to speed it up because they want it to be more exciting and more interesting for like the casual fan. And I think that's why but the 2-week Masters I also feel wasn't necessary. But obviously the tournaments want to maximize their ROI and also be able to offer more prize money, apparently, is what the 2-week Master format is doing. But it seems like slowly but surely we're moving towards a calendar mainly made up of those like premium events, which I think isn't ideal, because then you start to lose the grassroots fans, because those premium events are so expensive.
I mean, the athletes are being paid more, but then now the fans can't afford to see it.
Yeah, these are the changes, because I told you that there have been changes to the WTA requirements. In 2019, you had to do the 4 slams. You had to do like 8 1000s. You had to do 2 500s. You had to do the finals if you qualified. You had to do a total of 15 tournaments and 19 weeks if you reached all the finals. Next year, you have to do 4 slams. You have to do 10 1000s. 7 are 2 weeks. 3 are still 1 week. You have to do 6 500s. You have to do the WTA finals. That'll be a total of 21 tournaments and 32 weeks if all finals are made.
That's wild.
Yeah, so that's a big jump, and you're penalized, right? You lose points, you lose money, and that. So, again, we spoke about this in a previous episode where I was saying that the ATP bonus pool for the 500s is a good structure, I feel, to get players playing when they may not necessarily want to. The WTA, of course, does not have the funds or the means to do that at this time, but if they did, I think it would be a better approach than whatever the hell this is.
Because at least the woman would feel like, okay, I'm putting out extra, and there's a chance that I can walk away with extra. Like there's a return.
And I mean, also like the WTA at the current moment, I think has a better product than the ATP. I'm not going to lie. I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, I don't watch ATP tennis, it's boring.
You love ATP tennis.
I love it. But the WTA has a better product. Like the players, it's a more varied, the storylines are better. There's like a bit more of like rah-da-da. ATP is Yannick and Carlos, and then Djokovic.
Yeah, the ATP writers' room. They need to sit down this December. I don't know if I can agree that the ATP has a better product, though.
The WTA.
That the WTA has a better product than the ATP. Let me think about that. I have to think about it. I have personally become more into ATP this year than ever before. I was a complete and
bullying works.
Girly. But I would say still, even as hard as the WTA website is to use, I feel like I can interact way more with what the WTA has put out media-wise than the ATP.
Really?
Yes.
The ATP media is on point. They don't. Tennis TV does not play. Please.
No, I don't like these kind of like matchups with all the highlights. And now I'm watching like 10 different matches when I just wanted to watch one because I saw Ben Shelton's name mentioned in a caption. But they're starting to do that on the WTA side. I feel like maybe I'm the only person who doesn't like that. So,
but I think the WTA is still keeping the individual match highlights as well. That's what I was seeing.
They're just adding montages.
Maybe they're transitioning into montage only. But listen, I would say that the most fun I had watching a tournament, quote unquote, was the Laver Cup.
That shit was crazy.
I loved it.
I loved it.
It was just so fun. Do you know what I mean?
Bring back the Laver Cup.
We're going to San Francisco this year.
It's in San Fran?
Yeah, it's in San Fran. We're going.
That's so accessible to me.
I think for me, it's funny because the WTA has more money. I'm sorry, the ATP has more money, but the WTA has more, I don't know. It's just a bit, you know?
More marketability, I guess, based on the rankings that we just discussed.
I mean, that's for sure.
The ladies are definitely a vibe.
Because, I mean, like, for example, look how boring the ATP finals were. That was really boring. I told you that was so boring. Because I just don't, why did we not just mail Yannick the trophy? Why did we come here? We should not have come
I'm thinking
here.
next gen is going to be where it's at for the ATP, not going to lie.
No, for sure. It's going to be good.
The next gen with fees.
And I also like that they have the, actually, I don't know if it's like that in Riyadh. Sorry, not in Riyadh, in Jeddah. But they usually have the court that's just a singles court. They don't have the doubles alley.
Yes, and that just makes for like a spicy vibe.
Yeah, because the around the net shots and stuff looks so crazy because it's literally like flying outside of the line and then it drops
I love them courts. It just looks very futuristic. It looks like damn, we've hit the future of tennis.
I don't know if they're doing it again this year, but last year they were allowing fans to walk around during play. They were like trialing that. So I wonder if they're going to do the same thing. It didn't seem to affect the players at all.
I mean, I think these guys play with such like loud conditions, as in like you're at the top of your game and your game is exciting. The crowd is always going to be making noise and it hypes them up. So let's see. With that being said, what's next on tour? I mean, what's happening throughout the end of the year?
So we have the next gen finals in Jeddah. That's what's next. That starts on the 18th of December, so literally like tomorrow.
The lineup has some exciting names. You know, I've been a fan of Alexander Mickelson this whole season.
Yeah. Jakub Mensik is playing, Jerry Shang, Van Asch. I don't know Bassa Veretti. I'm not sure who that is. I know João Fonseca, he's Portuguese. And then there's the alternates are Landelus and Wong. So we'll see.
I actually have no idea how they come up with the next gen qualification like lineup. Because some of these names I know and like they definitely like had big wins on tour this year and they're newcomers. But yeah, I don't know who Bassa Veretti is. Interesting. Nishesh Bassa Veretti. I also don't know who Lugo Van Asch is.
Oh, you know Van Asch. He played last year. He kind of looks like a character from Big Mouth.
I see it.
You have to be among the top ranked players age 21 or younger in the ATP race. And then it's the top 7 eligible players. And then the 8th spot is typically reserved for a wild card entry. So I guess they gave that to Fonseca. Last year they gave it to the player from, is it Jordan or Lebanon? I can't remember his name. He was an Arab player, which was cute because it was in Saudi, obviously. But they gave it to an Arab player.
I think his name is Habib.
No. He's from Jordan.
Oh, Jordan or Lebanon?
Abdullah Shelbai. He's from Jordan.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, he played last year.
Yeah, so I think the ATP Next Gen final is going to be a vibe.
I hope Feast takes it.
Absolutely.
I can see Fonseca giving him some trouble. Mickelson might give him some trouble, but I think he's
Team Feast.
I think he's going to take it, to be honest. I love him winning because I love how happy his father gets.
I love how happy he gets. I just need to see him in a good mood at all times. It's pleasing to me.
And then we have the United Cup, which is WTA and ATP. It's like the group country thing.
So basically, as soon as these people sing Merry Christmas,
they're
and
out.
say their prayers, they are back to work.
Yeah, 29th December to 7th January. We have the ASB Classic in Auckland. That's WTA. That starts on the 30th of Jan. And then we have Brisbane International, which is a WTA and ATP in Brisbane, and it starts on the 31st. So
Yeah.
And then Novak, Sinner, Alcaraz, Zhang, Daminar, I think Alexei Poprin as well are playing some charity matches as part of the Australian Open opening week.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see all the photo shoots. What's that?
They have like really, really cheap ground passes for Australian Open, and so I think they really try and bring up the programming that week to like get. They are really big on like grassroots. Alex Daminar has also started like a tennis league or something down there where he's like trying to mentor up and coming players and stuff. So yeah, they're like 15 Australian dollars for children. No, 15 Australian dollars for adults and $10 for children.
That sounds really affordable. If it's 15 Australian dollars, then that means it's even less US dollars.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Did you see Musetti's photo shoot, by the way?
No, I did not. Running to Instagram right now.
Baby girl. Honestly, him and Berrettini on the bench during Yannick's Davis Cup matches, I said, nah, this isn't fair to me. I'm only one person. What are you doing?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, tennis is up, man. Tennis is up. Italian tennis is on another level. Coinciding with fashion. Sorry for those who aren't fashion girls.
I mean,
Next
listen,
time.
like, no tea, no shade. You know I love Paolini, but like, I just don't think that would be
No, next time.
like maybe Mew Mew or
Next one
something.
is
I
done.
don't know.
Mew Mew could be such a cute vibe.
She would
Let's
just have
get
to take her hair
creative.
out of that bun. She has to take her hair out.
She
that
will
bun
have to,
start
and they'll
with.
have to bring on a little personality. But let's make it happen for our girl.
Oh my
please.
God. Speaking of which, we didn't really do doubles trouble, but I have a bit of doubles trouble.
Tell me about it.
Last year Davis Cup, the US team, they have double specialists on their team. Like they do.
Mm-hmm.
That is a fact. And they didn't use them last year.
Awkward.
Rajiv Ram was not selected for the team at all, even though he was the number one doubles player in the world and he's American. The response then was like something about team camaraderie, something. This year he was on the team, but they chose for Fritz and Paul to play, I think. They lost, obviously.
They need to put some respect on those people who like are clearly better at doubles, because at some of these like team tournaments, it was clear who is not accustomed to having another player on the court with them. Like your reactions just aren't as fast. Your tactics are not as useful.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't play them. They skipped him in 2024 and 2022. Sorry. I said it was Paul and Fritz that played. It was Paul and Shelton.
Shelton, yeah. And Shelton has played doubles before. But Paul was very clearly not.
No, okay, whoa.
Experienced.
Tommy Paul and Taylor Fritz won bronze at Olympics, please.
Oh wait, that's true.
Don't do me. Don't do
I just
me.
remember thinking, why did they choose these two people when they have double specialists on the team?
Paul and Shelton lost very badly.
I remember that. So that must have been awkward in the dressing room.
A female doubles player like tweeted about it. She was like, doubles players are specialists for a reason. They are good at what they do. Why not trust in them? Especially when you have two former number ones. ...
Period.
I guess we'll never know because the captain said, well, you know, as captain, you have to make tough decisions. So Anyway, Miss Girl, that was that.
Yeah, girlie. That's a wrap on episode 12, season 1 of Serving Up the Tea.
Game Set Chat for the last time this season.
Shout out to Serving Up the Tea. See you guys next season.